Podcast America. This is Tobin Falk's replacement. It's pretty good, right?
That's phenomenal.
That's pretty good.
It's phenomenal.
We are without Father Time, a.k.a. Tobin Falk. He is away with another Hezbollah ISIS mission, and so you get the Jordan and Mike show today. But nevertheless, it is still brought to you by Training Northwest.
LLC.com.
Ooh, that was smooth.
Thank you.
Rifleman Camp has already been sold out.
Sucks to suck.
There are most likely pistol and AR classes at some point before the year ends.
Yeah.
So sign up. That's pretty good.
Hey, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep, 100%. Great company. Great man.
Great man.
Great mission.
Great mission. Great missionary. Anyways, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
You and I got to reestablish with, is this episode 96, I believe?
I believe so.
I believe this
We'll call
is
it.
episode 96, and we are trying to get our second scratch on YouTube for,
I mean,
just
any
free
number
speech.
of any number of Second Amendment, things that we like to have here. Some call us racist, some call us visionaries.
Yeah.
So
I like the visionary.
yeah,
I've had
I do
visions.
too. Yeah, and I
When the microphone's kicked on and blacked out.
Yeah, so I think this one we got off. I think we got off with a.
This was a banger, dude.
This was a banger.
This is when Mike and Jordan go unfiltered. We get to go down our own little giggle rabbit holes, which is kind of my favorite thing to do, buddy.
Yeah, we just J&M'd it all over the place. Yeah.
All right, so J&M it up and stay
Couple
tuned.
MJs.
Couple MJs,
What?
JMs, little PB and J. Enjoy the podcast, like, rate, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode. We're off without our mentor, but that's not even why we're here, Jordan. You know why we're here?
Is it? What's that? Turkey recap?
We'll do a little turkey. This will go everywhere, but you know why we're here, Jordan?
Why is it? Because we started a podcast 2 years ago.
I mean, yeah. Let's be honest, Tobin started one, but we're here to get our second strike.
Oh yes, that's right.
This is a triumphant return. I don't think you realize how much I enjoy these ones without Dad, because when Dad's not here, you're ordering a pizza. Mountain Dew Code Red is happening. Something's probably going to break in the house.
100%.
And what that break is Tobin's YouTube channel being docked.
Yeah, but we'll try and cover it up with a poster, like
Yeah.
like a hole in the wall.
Yeah, this is drywall.
Yeah,
This is drywall.
we're gonna break that drywall real quick. Should we just knock it out real quick?
Yeah. The Jews?
Whoa! I didn't.
What culture do we offend?
Yeah.
You know what's weird about us getting docked on? What was it? I came back from what's the last weekend? Labor Day.
Yeah.
The last 3-day weekend of the summer, right? And I went camping with my buddy, and we went to a river in the Cascades, a lake/river in the Cascades, and it was taken over by a quinceañera.
Yeah.
For about 7 miles.
People. Some passionate people.
A lot of fire and heat in that group. But we just talked about the weekend that I had, and we said no slander. And I said so many good things about, like, I wish my family was so much closer and tight knit and excited to hang out and just dance and,
Yeah.
And we had that episode where we talked about it, and YouTube's like, you're racist.
Yeah. You know what? It's weird because I don't think the saying Mexican is racist, but it sounds racist.
Right?
It sounds bad.
YouTube's
And it's
makes
like,
it
wait. I'm just saying Mexicans.
I know.
But it sounds fucking bad.
Well, it sounds bad when you say it with anything, like black people.
But you don't
the best
say
is
black
RF.
people.
Yeah, but black people. But the best is like RFK, and he's like the blacks. And you're like, yeah, I know. I get it though.
Yeah, but I mean, you do it with anything. You say Russians, and it's like, that's not racist. It's just But like Canadians, that's not racist.
Dude.
any Argentinians, like, you know, would.
That's like that Dave Chappelle joke where it's like you put was it Bill Burr? And he's like, you say a race and then you say motherfucker after it and it's not racist. And then he's like, this Argentinian motherfucker came into the pool hall, but if you put the fuck before that, and it's like, this fucking Argentinian, it changes the whole construct of the sentence.
100%.
But it is, yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
Make it sound a little bit more.
Yeah. But I mean, you know.
To each your own.
Yeah, whatever. Sorry, YouTube.
But that was a weird one because we got struck for that just talking about an experience. Like they labeled it as racist because...
Is that what they really labeled it?
Why else did he get a strike?
Because you were talking about how they were shooting guns in the middle of the night? Was that?
Probably. I don't think they would strike because of that, though.
No.
That group, if it was white people shooting in the middle of the night, would they strike us?
Probably not. I don't know.
I think it's just because we talked about a different culture and like it was insane what like that weekend. I mean, that is insane to have people at the middle of the night shooting guns.
Are you planning on another Memorial Day trip? Is my question.
Dude, I'm going to do a tour. I'm going to rent a bus and take people there, dude. Take them to the party. I'm not going to go there.
No. Enough for one lifetime.
I had my fill. I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced those weekends. I think I said that on the last podcast. And I might have put a fuck in front of the name. But, you know, yeah, that's, it's definitely a eye-opening, a culture shock, if you will.
The biggest culture shock to me was not just like, I get it. It's like, I have family reunions. The Kozak clan comes together. My grandmother was one of 19 children. So when we have a Kozak rally, boy, your
grandma was one of 19?
Dude.
Holy shit.
Great grandpa Kozak, he was a fucking.
Dude. What, all one, same grandma?
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me. Same mother for 19. She had 19 kids?
Yep.
Good Lord.
Dude, I have...
that's a factory. That's like thump.
Dude, we're bringing jobs back.
I guess.
Yeah.
That's friggin' nuts. But that was like when you needed kids to work? Like that was a labor thing?
Yes, this is... let's see. So...
Or was it like...
My dad was born in 50, so my grandmother... She must have been born in like 10 or like early 1900s. So then great grandparents were 1800s.
Wait. So if you're telling me that your dad was 50, so
he was born in 1950.
How old was he? Do you know how old his mom was?
Probably 20s to 30s at that time. I mean, that's what everyone...
I would probably imagine 20s then, somewhere in the 20s.
Yeah, because my grandfather was in World War II, and I think he was in his 20s. That's 42. So probably, like 20s to like sometime in the late 1910s.
Okay.
Let's say.
The teens, 19s.
Yeah. And then so... My grandmother would be born then, yeah. So and she was the youngest of those 19.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's what I was wondering.
So that's 19 years before then, and maybe a year between a child. You know,
maybe. Probably not. I bet there was a couple.
By the sound of it,
any twins?
No.
No shit. No luck. That is utilizing every egg. For 19 years, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Grandpa tried to scramble those eggs.
Dude, he did, yeah. Yeah, he was giving all the batter. He was not holding back. That guy.
But, so yeah, I go back east and it's huge amounts of family.
That is crazy.
No.
19 kids. Holy crap.
But that's, I mean, I think a few died probably.
Of course.
That's what you do with 19 kids. You kill
you go, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, man. I mean, but that's farm stuff, right? I mean, they had to
so that family was from, I think at that generation they had come to America. Like, so great grandparents had come to America and started having all those kids.
So all the kids were born in America?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Yes.
But the great grandparents were from Poland.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they legitimate anchor babies.
Yeah.
They weren't fucking around. They were like, you know how long it took us to get here?
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't just walk across the border.
But that's a great time to leave.
And YouTube. See you later. There you go. Sorry, Tobin.
I told you we'll get to the second one. Don't worry, dude.
Yeah. No, that's legitimate. That's fucking crazy. Get here and then all of a sudden just start knocking out kids. Is it something in the air, you think? You know? Is it like they
that
get
American
here,
air?
Just American air.
Dude,
they're
that
like,
Statue of Liberty makes pussy so wet. When they came in,
as soon as they signed those books, those fucking logs, they were like, we did it.
Ellis Island.
Now let's do it.
It's an aphrodisiac.
Ellis Island. Yeah. As soon as they got fucking scanned for their fucking fleas and mites,
get deloused. Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone did back then. That's why that area, I mean, I know we did.
That's why there's no straight lines in fucking on the East Coast. You know what I mean? It was just people drawing crazy little maps everywhere.
But it is crazy because they did come to like that area of like Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York, and so many of them live around that area.
They never got past.
My dad's the only one. He came to Washington.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, all those people, like, you look at, that's why all the biggest cities are on the East Coast, right? Like,
that plus they're the oldest. I mean, over time, it has to be. It's like whatever is the oldest is probably going to be the largest.
But I mean, they didn't have cars and shit back then. They get off a boat and they're like, all right, well, we could walk that way a little further, but we ain't going much further than that.
Yeah.
You know?
And you look at, exactly like you said, you look at New York, and New York is built up, whereas L.A. is 30 million people, population of Canada, but it's built out, you know? And so that East Coast, I think there's a thing to that, like that mentality of like all these people coming to the spot and building up instead of out. That's what makes that rough New Yorker, that no nonsense, that I need efficiency now. What are you doing dicking me around here, little guy? You know?
Yeah.
But that's a very big, and going to family reunions with all those people and you have me, you know?
What's up?
The West Coaster, it makes for an interesting dynamic.
How many family reunions have you gone to? You guys do many, or is it
yeah. So my grandma was the youngest of 19, and she's dead. So a lot of the older generation have died. But I start probably the first one. I mean, I went there when I was like 2. Don't remember that. But then it's like probably from 7 until 25. Tried to make all of them ish, you know.
And it was every year?
Oh, yeah. They had them every year.
Shit.
Yeah, dude, there's so many people. There was volley.
Like,
my friend, the horseshoe tournament and the beer keg were one of the most sought after experiences in the Kozak family in the summertime. So that's why they looked forward to the family reunion.
Now, okay. Who shows up to this family reunion at some point with 19 kids? Is it 19 grandparents and all of their lineage underneath that, or is it like your grandmother and then her offspring, or like at what point is it like, okay, we're not going back any further? This is crazy.
I mean, it was like, so like all those kids would have, you know, the husbands would have wives would have husbands. So then it would be their kids and then their significant other. And then those kids' kids, because, I mean, we got a lot of generations from...
Yeah.
I mean, that's 19 years at least. If you're fucking every year, 19 years for 19 kids, it was over that. So you had, like... It was weird to see my grandma, and then she'd see like a brother that was like, and she's like, "Hey, you old fuck," and it's like, both of you are old as shit, you know? Like, grandma, what are you talking about? Hey, you old fuck.
That's
but
hilarious.
It was, yeah. So it would be hundreds and hundreds of people.
That's what I mean. Like, it'd be pretty easy to like go crash a family reunion. Mm-hmm. Granted, you ain't fucking. Like, it ain't whether. I mean, you probably shouldn't be.
I had an uncle one time. He's like, "Isn't Carol super hot?" And I'm like, "Isn't she your cousin?" He's like, "Yeah, but she's like 2 removed, but she's still hot."
Yeah, I know.
But it's like over the course of 300 people, you're gonna run into one hot chick.
Yeah.
What am I
Holy
supposed to?
shit.
Yeah. At least she's in the family. We're doing something right.
They're not all mutants. Could you imagine? Oh man!
But it was fun because it was like it was and it was very well done because it was like there was a lot done for the kids. It's like, here's treasure hunts, here's activities, here's water balloon things, here's this. For the adults, it's like, here's volleyball, here's horseshoes, here's God damn it,
Bocce ball.
No. East Coast. So what, like table, where they put the salt on the table?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that called?
Shuffleboard?
Yeah. Is that shuffleboard?
I think it's shuffleboard.
Yeah. So they would play that. They would have kegs. It was, they'd get it catered. It was an all day event.
Was everybody like, I would imagine in something like that, you're wearing t-shirts.
Oh, it's Pennsylvania in the summer in July. Have you ever been East Coast in the summer?
No.
Humidity through the roof. Buddy, you take a shower in the morning, you're wet that night from that shower.
No shit.
It just never stops. But it's hot as hell. Everyone's hot.
No, but I mean, I'm talking like family t-shirts. Like, oh, we're the Kozaks from fucking...
We're not black. That's our next strike. No. It's like, we're Polish. We don't have pride that way.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you got to kind of connect it. Like, oh, we're the East Coast Kozaks or the West Coast Kozaks with, Uncle Ned's kids.
People would put name tags like, "Hello, my name is," and then you're like, I'm Grace's son is Mike. Mike is my father, so I'm the grandson of Grace. So like you could do the lineage because like all the original siblings, Bill and them, and we'd know pretty much who they were, but it's like, I don't know who your kids are. I don't know who your kids are. So everyone, but over the course of, you do it for 10 years and it's like, I know who you are. And then 15 years, you get a good establishment. But it's been weird as doing it over time. I see the old guard die. And people that I had this one uncle that, you ever see the movie Jaws?
Yeah.
Remember the boat captain Quinn?
Yeah.
Dude, I had an uncle that looked just like him. And he had that stoicism and like...
Oh, really?
Oh, he was my favorite uncle to play horseshoes with. But it's like, okay, so... he dies. So I'm seeing more of the old guard kind of die. And it's like my younger generation is the next. But
are you guys keeping it up?
No, because I don't have kids. Less youth are having kids. So
fucking compared to 19.
That's what I mean. So it's like the zest of it has died down.
Yeah.
Now it's just me at a fucking pizza place on the East Coast. Yeah.
Fuck.
But they were fun. It was great growing up.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing another one?
Yeah, I'll probably do another. I got to go back to the East Coast. It's been maybe, it's been a long time.
Really?
Maybe 8 years since I've been back.
Really? Fuck.
Yeah.
So how do you even get plugged back into that?
Just go. All my family lives back there. I talk to them.
Oh, so you know what's going on.
Yeah, and my dad's brothers. So my dad was one of 3, and I love my uncles. I talk to him. My Uncle Denny is...
That's a hell of a drop-off. going from 19 to 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you think about it like that.
Good job not putting in the effort, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Dad.
When was contraceptive? Well, now, I mean, the Plan B pill seems to be Plan A for a lot of these bitches. So, you know.
But that's what I mean. Like, and you said it too. My dad is one of 3, but my grandma was one of 19. And I have cousins, and they don't have kids. Mm-hmm. I don't have kids. Yeah. So many of the next generation is like,
let's pump the brakes.
I'm a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's made for a lackluster.
What do you think that's about? Do you think it's a money thing?
I think it's ability. I think
it...
it's when you have the ability to do things that excite you and enjoy you, and it's not like I need, because to have a farm, it's like in I don't know, when things are minimalist, I feel like the only thing that helps is more hands, right, and more product. And back in the day, I felt like that's why farmers had so many kids. That's why people had so many kids, is because it's like I think it's, maybe it was a little contraceptive, but I feel like we need this is all hands on deck. We got to create a little battleground here of people and fight the harshness of just living life.
Dude, I think they were like, what do you mean pull out? At some point, I don't think that was even a thought.
They're just like, leave it in.
Yeah.
Let's just have kids.
Well, I don't even, like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, but wasn't that, unless you were married, unless you're married, it was bad to have a kid out of wedlock, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe those guys were pulling out.
Maybe, but do you think they were, or do you think they weren't? They were just like, oh, I thought that at that point, I don't think they were having sex. I think they were like, oh, abstinence.
We'll just hold hands. But when we get married,
you're going to be holding something else.
There's going to be a floodgate.
Yeah. I imagine that's what it was. I mean, I don't think there was probably, where do you get that idea? It's not like they had the internet. You know what I mean?
I think
I'm going to throw this thing all over the place.
I think they
Little
knew
John
by
would say skeet, skeet, skeet.
I think they knew by then if you come in someone, you get them pregnant.
Yeah, but I think they were probably just like, let her rip. Let her rip. I'm not going to do it. Like,
I don't even have hot water. This is the only thing that feels good in my life. I don't know. I think it was also like back in the day, things were more religious, and part of the Bible, like and it's written on what are those stones in like the Carolinas, but like how a society's supposed to live. But in the Bible, it's like its first thing is like, I'm gonna screw up the original quoting, but it's like be bountiful or be fruitful. Mm-hmm. Like it's one of the first thing. It's like produce as many children as you can. And when times like that, I think you needed hands on deck. You need labor. It's like, okay, you live in this hut when it's just you and your wife.
They needed labor back then?
Yeah. I think it was work, dude. I think it was a mentality of like religious, but also like probably a couple are going to die in early childbearing or development.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean,
How easy do you think that night your grandmother's birth was?
Oh, she probably just fell out.
Just plap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at that point. At that point, it's just
great grandma was a pro by then.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Shooting them out the old catcher's mitt.
Yeah, thump. Yeah, I mean, after 5 or 6, you're probably pretty well versed.
It is crazy to me that she had that many.
That's I mean, your hips are probably ground down to just a fucking, at some point that thing probably looked like, you ever see the Asian kids get fucking pulled out of that hole in the ground?
when they
fall down the tubes.
Oh my God.
Just some guy covered in fucking dirt standing there being like, all right, babe, push. He just fucking
comes out.
Oh man. I mean, the human body.
Yeah,
that's wild. I think my grandmother was one of 5. My great grandmother. No, actually, my grandmother was one of 6.
Were they here in the U.S.?
Yeah. My great grandmother
for a while though, because I had that immigrant mentality, and maybe that immigrant mentality is we need to do some fucking. This is the land of opportunity. Yeah. 1 out of these 19 is going to be pretty successful. Yeah. So this is my retirement plan.
We're playing the odds.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I think there's probably something to that. I think there's got to be somebody who thought like that. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to have a few kids, and one of them will probably figure this out.
Yeah.
You know, and help me out when I'm old.
You know what's weird about having kids though is, yeah, and it's not like there's one, but like guys that run, there's a lot of doctors that run insemination clinics.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of stories of them. Like there's one guy, I think it's in Arizona or something, and he's got like 800 women pregnant from his own cum.
Well, okay, so
well, hang on. I looked into this deeply.
Well, I went and had my sperm tested. I told you about that. So I went to a place, and I could see how there could be some shady shit going on at this place. Dude, talk about the fucking worst. You go.
Does it have lights in the window like an Asian massage parlor?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, no. I went in. It was this place, because of the testicular cancer or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I go in and I'm like, all right, I just need to get tested. So make sure I've got swimmers and all this other stuff. And a while back. And they're like, all right, well, here you go. And this gal is like, here's a cup. Go in that room.
Do they give you material?
No.
I have my phone.
Well, that's I think.
Can I have your Wi-Fi password?
Yeah, I'll need this loaded up.
Yeah. Do you have headphones?
No, so I go in there. And like, this is fucking awkward as shit. And it's this small little room. It was probably a prison cell size. Like,
they give you lube?
6 foot, but I think there was
Jergens.
No, but they were like, wash your hands before, wash your hands after. Like, and it was like, okay. And they were like, go ahead and like, put it in this cup. And I was like, I'm going to fill this fucking cup. Like, good luck. Are you kidding me?
This one nut overproduces like a mother.
It's just been fucking working overtime.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, when I tried and got it in there, it was like an embarrassingly small amount. I was just like, oh my God, I got to get out of here. The shame.
You just leave it and run.
Just tipped over. I'm not signing that. If I can take the sticker off of it.
Dude, that's a weird thing to have shame for. It's like little jizz.
Dude, it was so weird.
I have little jizz syndrome.
It was the funniest. So I go in there. I do my thing. And I'm in there, and let me tell you about the most echoey fucking room you've ever walked into in your life. Right, it's just a little room. It's like everything. You just hear, and I'm just fucking A. And then to make things worse, you can hear fucking people from outside. No, the receptionist and stuff. So you hear them talking, laughing, and you're in there trying to do work, and it's like, this is not what I had anticipated this being like. So yeah, then finally you get done. They send you to, you go down this hallway and fucking set your little cup there, and like there's this girl with a nose piercing who fucking reaches in with gloves and grabs it, looks at it, looks juice, like, all right. And it's like, oh, that was.
Have you ever seen so much, miss?
Yeah. Don't use it all in one test.
Yeah. Careful, don't get it on your skin. You could probably get pregnant. It's pretty virile.
Yeah, shit lasts. Yeah. So that was not what
Were there other people there doing the same thing, like to get their?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you're,
but no, there. I saw like a 6'3" Indian dude who was just there to donate.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this cat is probably just raking in the dough. This guy. Yeah,
I'm a major in
Indian
computer
dude.
science, and I'm 6'3".
Yeah. He was like, here to donate. I'm like, oh, how many times do you donate?
Do they pay you to donate?
I think so, yeah. I don't know how much. I was like, obviously, like, I don't think you guys want my stuff, but let me get out of here. Can you just tell me if that thing's worth anything? And then they give you back the numbers, and then you're like reading it like stats and don't know what anything means, but you're like, that seems good, huh? Huh? Yeah. You said 50 million? All right. And then you find out that's like, that's on the low end. It's like,
Is that really?
Yeah. But then I was like, hey, you know what, though? That wasn't my best one. That wasn't my best showing.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be honest.
Let me have a couple beats or something. Like,
let me get my stamina back up. Or I don't know what I got to do, but that did not seem like a lot.
How do they measure it though? Is it like per like
they have
millimeter
all kinds of I think it's milliliter.
Okay,
milliliter, and then but then it goes like sperm per milliliter.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, density of.
Yeah, so it's like density. It's like I don't know, validity of like the sperm, how fast they move, how all the different things. And they were like, they don't move super fast, but I'll tell you
I've been microwaving with my balls near the door a lot.
Yeah, I've been hanging out with my cell phone between my legs on these long ass commute I got, so that's not doing me any favors.
That is true. I think about that.
Dude. And then so I'm dealing with that, and then they were like, but the good thing is like these things don't want to die. And I was like, oh yeah? And they were like, yeah, because you freeze test these things, and normally there's like a 60 to 65% die off, and you got like 65% living still. And I was like, well,
it's a cold plunge.
Hey, they're not running. Yeah, they're not runners. They're not built for speed, but
dude, your sperm there. Even your sperm have a little beard keeping them warm. They're like, we can handle it.
It's a little drag. We're good. No big deal.
Yeah, we're
built for winter.
We're used to northern latitudes.
Yeah.
Look at this. We're Icelandic.
Little Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. But
that's great. I've never done that. I should do that.
You know what? Part of me is like,
you should do it once a week.
Hey, sweetie, it's for us. That's why I'm going.
They come out, put a custom bathrobe on you. Here's our number one.
Welcome back, Kozak.
Yeah, it's me and the Indian guy.
Oh yeah, no. So that was an interesting ordeal.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And then you're just waiting for your stats.
What, they just email them to you?
Yeah, they just sent them in an email, and then I think
someone calls and explains.
Yeah,
because you're just reading it saying 53 million.
I'm like, huh? Yeah. No, then I had to call back and be like, what does this mean? What is it? And they were like, I mean, it's okay. We're looking for a little higher quality if we're looking for donations.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck does that mean, guy? I will drive down there and I will beat your ass. Look again. But then, that ended up being a whole.
Do you think there's more?
They were.
Let's get that second strike. Do you think certain races have more virulent sperm, or like?
Oh, I'm sure.
Or more fertile than whitey over here?
I mean, who knows?
Because you have to think too. Part of culture is diet. And a lot of white people in America, Western society,
you're just boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, how much is that affecting your endocrine system and your reproductive system? It's like, maybe because of things we eat, maybe it does force whitey down the totem pole. All right. Was that racist? You know what I mean? The pyramid. The hierarchy.
Comparatively. Yeah, like best to worst.
It has to have some effect.
There's got to be I would
because that has to what makes you genetically too is what you eat in your area. If you eat in Asia nothing but rice and you eat in South America nothing but corns, that has to put some sort of influence on what genetic factors you have.
Yeah, but
it's going to express different genes.
But do you think that would be like, okay, so I should be eating fucking fish and, whatever from Norway or, Norwegian style diet. But I'm down hanging out in Southern California and I eat nothing but fucking Mexican food and burritos and, corn.
Sounds
right?
good.
Sounds delicious. But, so for me, do you think that would affect me bad?
Yes.
As opposed to a Mexican dude lives in the same place and is eating... that do you think that would affect him versus us living in Norway or fucking in Germany or whatever?
Yeah.
And we're both eating Mexican food in Germany. Do you think that would change? Because like the
it's not
environmental
enough because
factor?
you still have what you go back towards, but it would have a little bit of effect because whatever you do in life is going to give you gene expression. Mm-hmm. Right. So there was a guy, Dr. Mark Thyssen, and he had this company called Primal Blueprint. And so they would do a swab in your mouth for your genetic testing and they would do your lineage. And part of doing that, why they would do that is they wanted to see what your makeup was. And there are things like a lot of Asian countries, people fare better with rice and certain things from that area compared to, say, a person from Alaska, an Inuit, where it's like all meat, or a South American, right? So depending on where you came from and what your lineage is, there are certain foods that you do have more inflammatory factors in reaction to. Mm-hmm. So there was a guy that he's like, for athletes and for... what are the people that want to live forever? Not centurions, but that's what a person over 100. But like, there's those longevity expert people. Yeah, all those homos. But but this guy came out with this like whole meal program due to genetic factoring off of your composition and then also where you are currently, and they would tailor diets that they said would be more beneficial. Now, whether that's true, I don't know, but the dude was kind of a cool cat. It was interesting.
I'd be interested in getting some of that genetic testing and find out what the perfect diet for me would be.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to see how much of that ties into my heritage.
They're like French tips.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you need to up your bread intake. Oh, great.
Got 2 loaves of Wonder in the back seat.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do think it does affect you, and it's like I find I eat the same things over and over. I am not like a super, I'll go out with you guys and eat, but for the most part, I eat the same thing day in and day out because my body responds. Like, these are my pleasures on the table here. These are what all allow inflammation and stuff. But when it comes to diet, I usually am pretty fucking strict about it because I feel it when I eat bad things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to notice it more and more. And
is this older age?
Drinking. I'm noticing, I think it might be. It might be the fact that I'm getting a little older.
Because like come on, think of drinking at 20. It's like, how quick did you rebound from that?
Oh,
whereas now,
instant. Right?
Yeah,
you get hammered, wake up the next morning in the early morning, go for a run.
Oh, dude, an hour hangover at like 19, where you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel like shit. And what would in your 30s take you 24 hours to get back to baseline? Within 1 hour, you would feel all those emotions and be fine.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, this is going to suck for another 45 minutes. I better go back to sleep.
I'll eat a burrito.
Yeah, dude, that's what I need. I think that there's probably a fair bit of genetics involved with that as well.
I think so.
But
like, even like we're talking about, look at alcohol. Like, Native Americans were very right. Come on, we're going for our third strike.
The bases are getting loaded.
We got a runner on third here. Let's bunt this one in. All right, we'll bunt it in.
Yeah, the natives aren't the only loaded thing. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, can't stop now.
Won't stop.
Like, Native Americans did not have alcohol in most of the Americas. Mm-hmm. Like, there were fermented things, but when the whites came to the United States, we brought firewater.
You want to see some real fermentation?
Yeah. But the whites had hundreds, thousands of years of their body starting to drink these things, and we produce enzymes, right? And it helps us break down alcohol, right? Cultures throughout time have had fermented things, but the more you ferment them, the more alcohol content you get. When we came to the Americas, they had none of that. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, try this, and their body just didn't know what to do. So it's like, yeah, that's the perfect example of that genetics. Like, everything changes over time, so I'm sure the food consumption over time has to affect you.
Oh, absolutely. Diet, I would imagine, and that's why I think like maybe I would do better on like a halibut diet, or what's the
Dude, you eat nothing
Germanic?
but fish sticks?
What's a Germanic diet? Because I think that's
Schnitzel.
really what just a lot of
cured
fucking
meat,
meat and beer and fucking pretzels.
Fermented like cabbage, krauts.
Yeah.
Cabbage.
Cabbage spuds.
More cabbage.
Some spuds. Yeah.
Dude, do you still listen to what's Shane Gillis's podcast?
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear that one where he talked about he went to that Irish vampire movie?
So funny.
Yeah, gay spuds or hot spud or whatever. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. The Matt and Shane Secret Podcast.
Matt and Shane. Yeah. You'd be eating stuff like that. But I think in probably like people from there, I'm like, what's from that land? Yes, cabbage, deer, right? You have animals like that. Indigenous things, not a lot of fishing.
You don't think so?
Probably lakes, maybe
Trouts and rivers.
Yeah.
Salmons.
But like as a major food supply.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would imagine fishing was probably
what percent German are you?
I have no clue. I've never done any of that stuff. I've never done any of the genetic testing or ancestry, or I kind of want to, but then part of me is like, I don't know.
I've heard like your stuff, like 23andMe got bought by a company in China, and so like China owns all your genetic information if you've done those. And it is kind of scary because they can tailor viruses and stuff towards ethnicities.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And like this ain't like woo like
no, this is Wuhan.
Conspiracy.
That's the kind of conspiracy 100%. We're talking. Dude, that I started listening to a book called The Downfall of America or something like that today. And it was like it's a fictional book.
Disaster porn
for sure. And it was like, oh, this is a man-made virus that is targeted to target ethnicities that are not Chinese.
Yeah.
So it was all Chinese, like, we're going to be okay. So, like, the Chinese army rolled through, and, like, it was something to do with, like, kids. Kids wouldn't get it, the virus, until, like, something to do with their bones. And, like, once their bones got to a certain
density or something?
Not density, like, would close, like, their growth
stop
plates or whatever.
ossifying. And
Then, so before that, you were good, but when they stopped, you were pretty much fucked. So like 17 and on, it was like, good luck.
Yeah.
And the death rate was like 95% or 98% or something like that.
Well, that's a crazy thing. Like
fake.
But
fiction. Yes.
But that is
they
true,
could
though.
Absolutely do that.
I mean, that, yeah. And that's a crazy thing when you get to things like CRISPR and like the Human Genome Project was very interesting. That was started in the 90s. And Bill Clinton put in funding for the Human Genome Project. And it was billions and billions of dollars. But
meanwhile, I just got bit by a fucking mosquito and I'm going, that son of a bitch. Those are his triggers, dude.
Fuck that, dude. You want to talk about mosquitoes? Turkey hunting? I have never had such bad mosquitoes. Buddy, I was sitting on this hill.
Dude, mosquitoes are having a real fucking real time.
Real comeback?
They're having a real fucking, this is their time. Mosquitoes are coming. I'm talking like this year. I feel
They're
like
thicker.
Mosquitoes are thick.
Yeah, dude. This was the buggy. Dude, I must have pulled 40 ticks off me. And you ever see that movie
40 ticks?
Oh, yeah. Not like bit into me. Like
no, but you're just.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, it was a ticky time, huh?
Oh, it was ticky and more mosquito-y. You want to talk hunting? Hang on. You want to do a quick pee break and we'll get into this hunt recap? All right. Strike 4.
Here we go. Yeah. Back to turkey talk.
Hey, Podcast America. Time for turkey talk. So turkey was fun this year. Had a good time. I think you guys I was not the trigger puller on this turkey. I said
what?
Yeah, no, that was not my turkey. Because I said we got a turkey, and you guys were like, "Oh, congratulations!" I'm like, "Oh wait, do they think I got it?" I was not the trigger puller.
Okay,
so let me clear the ground up instantly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go.
But it was just Ben and I, and I like that turkey hunting spot too because you do get cell reception.
Ben needs a turkey.
No.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. Mike needs a turkey. But it was just the two of us, and I love that hunting spot. And it was fun because, like, last year was good, but we had some new people, and having new people,
yes.
You're doing a lot of showing around and stuff. Yep. And, like, it's not like it's a bad thing, but it's like I want to make sure this person has a good hunt and try and help and stuff like that. So this year was just like, let's get wild, buddy. Mm-hmm. And I've hunted with Ben pretty much my whole hunting career. And so it was fun having cell phone service because we could work in tandem, and just like, you're in this area, I'm going to push here. You see anything coming? Oh, something came and it went back. So it was a really fun trip. Mm-hmm. And, the second,
allegedly using stuff like that to communicate.
Yeah, allegedly cell phones. But it was a fun trip, and it was my first time I ever got something to attack my target.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I set up, and I had my turkeys out, and I had 2 hens and a jake come up, and this little jake was so aggressive, and he just went ham on my targets, and it was so upsetting to see something attack it and not be able to shoot it. Just hoping for something else to come.
What was the little jake? Was he just, you're trying to fuck my mom?
Probably, yeah. This is my aunt and my mom, and what are you doing in my territory? Yeah. So he was very aggro, but next year I'll see him. Yeah. I got the spot marked. Yeah. But yeah, so it was at the very end of the day, just chasing turkeys all around. And at the very end of the second day, we got one like right at dark. And I was like, all right,
that's
nice.
Fucking good time.
So brought it back and helped Bender. We cut the fan off and breast it and get all our meat off and everything. So it was like, it was a really good turkey experience. Ticks were very plentiful, as were mosquitoes. My kneecaps will be the proof. I look like I have chicken pox. And I wore long sleeves and pants this entire trip.
And they were landing where it was tight?
Yes. They ate me through my clothes, buddy.
Dude, I'm telling you, Bill Gates... He invested a lot
in mosquitoes.
In these mosquitoes and this.
Well, it was funny because it's always been like, viruses. I get a tick or two on me, right? And last year was the worst I've ever seen with ticks. And I've never thought a fucking thing about mosquitoes. This year, there's this movie, a documentary called, it's a Werner Herzog one.
Time Bomb?
No, it's pretty close. It's called Haimo Dreams of the Forest or Haimo Dreams of the Wilderness. And it's about these people that live in Siberia and they,
oh yeah. And the guy's going through and like I think I saw a part of it where he like is collecting his trapline stuff and he grabs a beaver like in between these two trees.
Yeah.
Or a weasel or something, and he like knocks it on the wood.
Yeah. It's frozen. Yeah. I think that's the same one, but they're in Siberia, and in the spring, like in Siberia, mosquitoes are like, they black out the sunlight. They're so thick. And so these people are putting like tar and charcoal on themselves as like a coating to keep the mosquitoes away. It was like that this year, and I've never thought anything about it. And Ben came with 3 cans of off. And I was like, I don't know what you need all that for. The first day, he went through 2.5 cans. You know? And I was like, all right. So we kind of each do our own thing when we're running around. And we meet up later. And we're like, let's go sit here and hunt this area together. So we're sitting there. We got our decoys out. And I look over at Ben. And there's not a fucking bug on him. And he looks at me. And all I can hear is bzzz, and I have a cloud around me. Like the mosquitoes were so bad this year. My back, my knees, everything got ate. But it just made for the experience. What the real parts of the juicy parts of this hunting trip were.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I took a poo.
Oh.
And that went south.
Oh, no.
Real fast. So a lot of people just dig a hole, do the little squat over it.
Uh-huh.
I like to find a tree that's fallen over.
Okay, yeah.
Something maybe at where your knee kind of bends.
Yeah,
so
man,
you
a class.
Can sit against it.
Uh-huh. Do you sit against it or do you sit over it?
I sit against.
Okay.
Just to give me a little backstop support. I don't like the straight up and down back support. Uh-huh. I like the...
Which I've done.
We've all tried. You have to find what works for you.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
But I like the horizontal support, right? So I'm sitting there, start to do my bathroom procedure. Mm-hmm. Things start happening. Mm-hmm. Feels good.
Feels real good.
Put a little extra back into it, lean into it as it's feeling good. My friend, as I'm sitting there, that log that I was sitting on that was laying horizontally broke.
Oh, no.
And what did it do? It went backwards. And what did Mike do? Mike drug his boots and his pants through all of his poo, went over backwards, did a full backflip off of it with my pants around my ankles and my sweet, sweet dong floating through the mosquito air. I can't do it. I came back to camp and Ben goes, what the hell happened out there? I go, what do you mean? He's like, I heard all of it. I fell backwards. There's screaming. There's crashing. There's, fuck. So that was memorable.
Oh my gosh.
I just had to tell you because it's like, that's too embarrassing not to tell people.
What do you do at that point? Is this?
You strip down, you go into your tent, and you change. I mean, it's on you.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. You're not washing. You're not washing that off out there.
I got wet wipes.
Is that what you just tried to wash it off? Or did you put it back on and like, oh, we're good to go?
No, I took everything off and changed into my next outfit.
But now it's like, all right, now you got to bag that up.
Oh, it's bagged. You just throw that away is what you do.
All right.
Yeah.
My Sitka. Shitka.
Luckily, it was like first thing in the morning, drinking coffee, going out in like the sleeping clothes.
Yeah, that's okay. Good.
But when that tree gave out, I was so dude. When I landed,
but I mean, moving forward, now are you going to give the trees a little fucking stomp?
They need a structural integrity test, like an earthquake test. Yeah.
Do you have like a new method you're going to start using? Is that like you got to come up with the Kozak fucking
Put rebar in them so it's earthquake proof. Yeah,
shake,
give it the little jiggle.
Okay, that's sturdy.
Dude, maybe I just take one of those handicap potties with me everywhere.
That's a slick move. Yeah, that's a very slick move. And I got one of those, and like an idiot, I gave it up. I was like, oh, okay, it was a kind of a gag gift, and I was like, I'm not gonna keep this fucking thing around. I wish I did.
Wait till you're doing a backflip over a 40-foot cedar with poo-poo all over your muck boots, man. You're going to wish you had that bad boy.
No, I've gotten close. I've drug a heel. I'm not gonna lie. I put a heel in there.
We've all put a heel,
and it's like son of a bitch. And then you gotta like, okay, kind of
where's the stream?
Yeah. You kind of drag that foot for the next fucking 200 yards.
They won't smell. The elk won't smell this.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, because Tobin's a real like. He's like, if you're a surface shitter, you're out of my fan club.
He doesn't like them.
He doesn't like them at all.
No, and I'm not a surface shitter.
I'm not a surface shitter, but I've taken a shit. I've covered it up with a heavy rock.
Yeah, a piece of bark. Yeah, of course.
I've gone off trail and took a surface shit or two.
Yeah.
I do bury for the most part, but
even a shallow grave is better than nothing. You know,
some hobo shit just out in the middle of the woods like a prick. Like so, yeah. Any surface shitters out there, be warned.
Tobin's looking for you.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
Yeah,
he's fucking coming for you. That's like, but that's urban outdoorsman 101 is surface shitting.
Yeah,
that's what they do. That's city slicker. That's city slicker shit.
Yeah, you have a bus pass. You're pooping on the ground.
Yeah, that's some orca card fucking carrying shit right there.
So that was fun.
Oh my goodness.
So that was fun.
And is that day one?
No, luckily that was the last day.
Oh yeah.
As I was packing up and stuff.
That's
yeah. So that was that. First day we woke up. So we got there super late. Like I had to work and stuff, and we didn't get to camp, and like Ben and I met up over there at like 9:30, and then we got to camp at like 10:30, finally finding a spot. And we went to a different spot. We camped on the other side of the fields that we normally do.
I got you.
So it made for a very quick entrance to our normal hunting spot.
Yes, I imagine it would.
It was very nice. But we woke up so we got there super late. You know, you have a few drinks and you're all excited to be out in the woods. And I wake up in the morning. And I didn't want to set up my tent because we got there so late. I'm like, fuck it, I'll just sleep in the back of my truck. And I wake up and it's like, it's light out. I probably better go pee. So I get out of the truck and start to pee. And I look over. Ben's got a gun in his hand and he's pointing into the woods. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, dude, there's a turkey right there. Like, he woke up and there was a turkey in our camp gobbling. I think that's what woke me up and started getting me going. And it woke him up. And because we got there so late, we didn't have any of our guns out. Everything's still in their cases and everything. So yeah, made for it, but it gave us determination. So it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
We're in them.
We're in the right spot, and we were. But the most intense thing out of this entire trip is I got way too close to a moose.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a scary ordeal.
Buddy. Okay. So here's what happened.
Okay.
Behind where we were camping and stuff, there's a valley, right? And it's pretty steep on each side. And at the very bottom of this little valley, or ravine, we'll call it, at the bottom of this ravine is a bunch of bushes, right? And they're bushes that are maybe 10, 15 feet tall, like in this deep, deep little gulch. And going up from each side of the gulch, right above it is grass patches, right, on each side. So I climbed down this gulch, and I put my decoys on the grass patch to the left. Mm-hmm. And the opposing grass patch and ridgeline, I'm figuring something will see it and fly down. So I walk down on my side of this gulch, and maybe this grass patch is 50 feet to the bottom of this little gulch into those bushes.
Yeah.
And so I walk down there and I set my decoys up and I hike back up the hill a little bit and sit in a bush full of ticks and mosquitoes, right? I probably sat there for 2 hours and I had stuff, I'm squawking, stuff is responding to me. And it's like, there's turkey, and just couldn't get anything to come out into the brush and make itself presentable to become Thanksgiving dinner. So I get tired and it's like, fuck, I'm done here. Let's go get the decoys. So like any good hunter or rifleman camp member, you never leave your gun behind. And so I threw my gun on my back and I walked down to get my decoys, right? So I walked down towards this gulch and maybe I'm 30 feet to those bushes. I start picking up my decoys. And I'm picking up my decoys and all of a sudden I hear... It's like, what? Sounds like a tire's blowing out. It sounds like air's coming out of a compressor. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm like, that's weird. And I hear, and the bushes start to move just ever so slightly. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, maybe there's a deer in there. Like I've had deer grunt and bark at me. Yeah. Maybe it's this deer. And then all of a sudden I hear it does the air sound and it starts to make noise. And it's like, oh my God. So I'm fumbling all of a sudden. I'm like, I'm getting my gun, and I get my gun and I'm pulling it out in front of me. And then I hear one more just of that air. It goes, and I'm maybe 30 feet to these bushes, to this bottom of this gulch. Uh-huh. Next thing I know, a fucking moose runs straight at me out of these bushes. Couldn't see him in there. Had no idea he was in there. He runs straight at me from 30 feet. Oh, he was so big. 2 steps.
A male bull moose.
2 steps is just like he covered so much ground instantly. This point, I'm fumbling with my gun. I'm cocking it and I'm loading birdshot. In my head, I go,
I got to switch to tungsten.
Yeah, some bismuth, something. Dude, in my head, I'm like, I guess I'm just going to shoot this moose in the face a couple times with birdshot and like get him out. Mm-hmm. And as he's hitting me,
as I'm dying,
maybe that will provide me a second to like scramble off.
Yeah.
I do jujitsu.
When they find this moose, they'll know this is the one that killed me.
Yeah, it's had a bunch of shot size 3 in his nose running up a ridge. So he charges right at me and he stops at maybe 15 feet and he looks at me and he gives me one more. He gives me a big, and like at this point, I don't know what to do. I just have my gun and I'm holding it pointing at him. Like, cause it's like, well, I need to seem kind of big and intimidating. So it's like, I don't want to start walking backwards. Uh-huh. So I'm just standing there. And then he gives me one more big, and he runs back into the bushes up the other side of this gulch. Maybe the other side of this is 300 yards. It all took place within 9 seconds, 10 seconds.
Jeez.
Like from him coming out of the bush.
Are you sure that like wasn't a, you think that might have been a sniff? And he was like, oh, that smells like shit.
He's like, why is
this, get the fuck out of here?
Why is this tree on the ground? Why does it smell like poo-poo in here? No, he gave that sniff and he ran off. And this whole thing maybe took 9 seconds. And the craziest thing
from
was
start to finish, 9 seconds? Like
start to finish of him coming out of the bushes to him being completely out of sight. He came out, stood in front of me for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, what felt like an eternity. Uh-huh. And then he ran in the bushes and straight up that other hill. And I've grown up my entire life with horses and being around large animals. When he took one step, it was like 3 horse steps. And all I could remember, like, I remember like bits and pieces and flash, but as he was going up the hill, all I could look at was that weird fucking animal leg in the back that's like bent like a upside down J.
Yeah.
And he would push off the ground and it looked like his body would float up as rocks and dirt are spewing at me. Like, and he's on the other side of this gulch. Dude, that thing must have been doing 45 miles per hour up this hill.
Holy shit.
So it takes 9 seconds, I say, for about all this to happen. He gets up and over the hill. I'm still holding my gun, not knowing what's happening, very confused and scared. As soon as he made it up the hill, it was like, oh, okay, I'm safe, right? And as soon as in my head I went, I'm safe, my whole body just started to like uncontrollably shake. Like I could not hold anything still. Like I am chattering back and forth. I grab my decoys, I go up on the hill, and I just lay down. Like I sprawl out like Jesus on the cross. It took maybe 5 minutes for me just to like, all right, get everything out of the system. I have never been that close to a large like animal like that. It was the most intense,
well, that's
coolest,
kind of like a
scariest thing in my entire life. Because I've been
charged by a moose.
But
like
it's like
charge.
I've been but we've kind of had it with like elk and stuff.
Not like that.
Dude, I never want to have that again.
That's fucking crazy.
But so that whole thing happens and it's like, and that's where I'm like, oh, it's just turkey. There's nothing really to worry about. It's like, do I start carrying a sidearm now?
Dude, well, it's fucking, yeah. That's, I mean, honestly, that's kind of a.
It was cool.
Yeah, super cool.
But then when after it happened and I changed my underwear, it was like.
Do you think that it would make a difference ammunition you had in your gun?
100%.
So do you feel like it'd be worth carrying?
So, but here's the thing. It's like, so for turkey and stuff and bird, you can only have 3 shots in your chambered.
Yeah, you can only
right?
have, but I'm saying like.
So now I have to, in that time, I have to eject a shell or two.
No, I'm talking like, instead of having steel, having tungsten. That's way denser, way heavier.
Is it going to matter against a moose?
I don't know. I imagine it's going to go in a little hard, little bit,
a little bit further.
And you're going to have to wait. But
do you think that just pisses them off more?
No, I think you shoot a fucking anything in the face with a shotgun at like within 5 foot, 10 foot. I think they're going to be like, "Fuck."
Get a response.
Maybe. Who fucking knows? It's a goddamn moose,
dude.
Yeah. That is crazy.
I did not like it, to be completely honest. As much as I like being it was an interesting experience. I have a good story, but like, it went from so quickly as I'm out here to take everything over and kill it to be like,
I'm a little bitch.
I'm on the table to be food.
Yeah.
You know, like a predator is going to come snatch me up after my carcass is found.
That's so crazy that we have fucking animals like that. I mean, elk are big. Elk getting close to your fucking like holy shit.
It changes your perspective. It was
a different fucking animal.
His shoulders must have been taller than my truck.
That's fucking.
It was so big, and it happened
Did it
so
have a big shovels on it, or was it like?
It just
probably.
Yeah, I mean, they looked huge. I mean, everything looked. And when he came up out of those bushes straight out at me.
Dude, if a horse came out of there, I'd be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, let alone a moose.
But it was like everything went through my head at once. Like,
a donkey could have ran out of there. And I'd be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was so weird how like everything went through my head. Like, they say your whole life flashes. And it wasn't like my life flashed, but it was like, oh, I did this. I'm this person. I felt this. I'm this. And it was like everything in that moment, like all of a sudden just into me sitting there with my gun. And it was like, okay, you're okay. You're going to hold your gun and you're just going to stand here. And it was like, it pulled me into a moment of reality. Like things are happening so quick right now that I haven't experienced that in such a long time. And I think maybe that was part of that adrenaline dump. Like it was weird how clear it put everything into perspective, But as soon as it finished, it was like my whole system went offline and had to reboot.
Oh.
Dude, but it was interesting. And I come back to camp and it's like, I told Ben, he's like, oh, that was nuts. But it's like, you have no clue how crazy that was. The skin's still wet,
Dude,
but that was hunting.
Yeah,
that was
turkey.
Hunting. That was turkey hunting.
That's like, it's moments like that like you go, that's why you go do all this.
Yeah, that's you come back and it's like, that's why I'm telling that story, because it's like you think back and you're like, fuck, man, I've gone to Seattle 1,000 times, and it's like, okay, so what do you do? Oh, I had a good dinner. I saw a show that was entertaining. But something that you do and it sticks with you and it like almost imprints. Yeah. It's like in the response, it was too much to handle almost. Dude. But it makes me wonder about moose hunting.
That's a bucket list Alaskan moose hunt. Now, okay, so that...
Well, you get one in Washington.
You get one, good luck drawing.
Yeah, true.
But do you think that'd be worth the $6,000-$7,000 price tag? Now that you've had that feeling, is it like...
I'll tell you this. It's got to be so much meat. Part of that price tag you're paying is probably for at least $1,000 of meat that you're going to get out of it.
Oh,
I mean 1,000 pounds of meat. Yeah. Like just the tallness factor. It's like a Clydesdale fucked a camel. You're like, why are your shoulders that tall? But
fuck.
Yeah. And so that was, out of everything, that was just the highlight. That was I'll never forget that, like you said.
That's why we do it.
That and pooping on myself. That's why we do it.
Oh, fuck. I wish I went. That would have been cool.
Oh, it was fun. But that was turkey hunting. It's over. Next, we have elk. But it's just kind of that. It's like, that's fun. These are little adventures. And I think that's why it's so important to kind of do them. One, it's like you're out there by yourself in the most beautiful of scenery. And everything you see on TV or any movie, it's like, oh, the Buddha's all enlightened. Where is he? He's on this mountaintop. So there's something about hunting, I think, that just plugs you into a state of contentness or filters out all the bullshit noise that really grounds you. But then the stories or the experiences that you get to kind of come back and reflect upon are so much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think when it shapes your actual reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is as real as it gets.
I'm not going to think about gulches the same.
Yeah.
I will always approach it differently now.
There could be a moose right there.
Yeah. I'm going to tell all my other buddies, hey, go check that out and we'll go down there.
Yeah. Hey, you hear anything down there?
Why don't you stick your head in there?
Yeah, why don't you bang a couple sticks together? Yeah, it's those stories that really that's what life's about, dude. Collecting those stories over and over and over.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's why the thing is, it's like you're never going to experience it. Like people, I feel like a lot of people get so worked up and like, okay, I'm hunting this species. I'm hunting this. I'm hunting that. But it's like you can have an adventure hunting turkeys that is life-changing.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine getting fucking tapped by that fucking thing? If it would have...
The coolest thing would be get just a little scar.
Just a little nick.
A little scar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, I was hunting turkey and got attacked by a moose. What the fuck? Literally, the two largest differences. I mean, we don't squirrel hunt in this state, but if you did, you know what I mean? Like,
that's the next smallest you get.
Like, it's like you are so far off. That's so crazy, right? Like, you went from small game to the largest game in an instant.
And that's a cool thing I think about that area.
You don't get it if you don't go out.
You have to put yourself out there.
That's why when people get so wrapped up in my opinion, when they're like, I'm going elk hunting, I only want to get an elk, I'm going elk hunting. It's like, cool, but you can find some crazy experience. If it's about the meat, of course.
Yeah.
But if it's about just going out and seeing and having a good time,
animals.
It's like,
yeah.
You can do it with anything.
Oh, yeah. The amount of elk, and that was cool too, because it's like, oh, we're turkey hunting, but you see moose every day, you see deer every day, you see elk every day. It's like the gambit of animals, and the amount of kills I saw this year, like walking and driving, the amount of putrid, wretched smells we'd find, and it's like, oh, that's a cougar that pulled an elk under here. Oh, that's a cougar that pulled a deer under here. Oh, that's probably a bear kill. I must have seen 20 different animal carcasses this year at that spot.
Really? And
the large things are dying left and right. And they got wolves, they got cougar, they got bear.
Yeah. That's the reintroduction shit is got me.
But it's kind of fun. It like puts you into that
it could put you in
Western expansion at Louisiana Purchase type.
It's carry a sidearm.
That BS exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I said, it's like, well, so what do? Do I put some tungsten in there and shoot him in the face and piss him off more before he kills me? Or do I start to kind of be like, maybe a sidearm straight to the dome?
No, I'm saying you gotta. Yeah, there you go. You got Skeeters on you.
Dude, I brought him back.
Yeah, I got one of those chest holsters for a 10 millimeter, and I think that might be the way to go. My new fucking deal is just carrying that and some fucking.
Maybe I just carry a 10 millimeter for turkey from here on out. Dude.
What the fuck are you doing? Like, none of your business.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a crazy thought to carry a sidearm like everywhere you go. But I mean, if they're going to be reintroducing grizzlies and you're going to be up in the North Cascades or, granted you have a shotgun. It's weird to carry a sidearm with a rifle or a sidearm with a shotgun.
Yeah, but it's all full of BBs. It's not like I'm shooting buckshot.
Yeah, buckshot or fucking a slug.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% right.
And I thought about what if I put a slug in because I got a little on my buttstock.
It ain't going to go quick enough.
Yeah, I got an ejecta shell. And
you're lucky if you can fucking draw a pistol.
Dude, I couldn't even draw my shotgun. Yeah. You know, like the amount of just anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's not a bad idea, because could you imagine if you like all of a sudden?
Could you imagine if I got killed and you guys had to carry this podcast on without me?
Like, all right, well, so it sounds like Mike had a run-in. Yeah, and apparently he has shit himself.
Dude, that's how it would be known. The mad pooper.
Yeah, no, he had shit all over, but it was on the outside of his pants. It's the weirdest
He shit
thing.
himself before the moose killed him, that pussy.
How'd he wipe it all over everything?
The backflip.
Yeah. Dude, I can't imagine. That would be so fucking crazy hearing a story like that. And like, oh yeah, dude got fucking mauled by a moose.
But I never thought it could happen until it. You know how they say, like reality.
I think you spend enough time out there,
things start happening.
Things are going to happen. You're going to end up with all those stories, and that's why it's like you miss a hunt, you miss an opportunity to like gain experience in a fucking story.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens to somebody's first time out, but like I mean, the more you spend time in the woods, the more
a lot of odds.
Woods are gonna get you.
Yeah,
so that's fucking awesome. I love that. I love stories like that. I mean, I didn't get to experience it, but like I like the like that. Do you think that that's gonna give you any trepidation to going out and like being out there at all?
No.
Yeah.
It was just part of the experience. You know, like it makes you think. Like you said, will it hinder like the bravery or anything? Probably not, but what it does is give you a different perspective and an understanding. And it's like, oh, this just adds to my hunting education, and it's like getting tapped. Does that stop you? It's like, nah, not really, but it makes me get a little bit of better understanding of maybe how the situation or things work here, or how far I can push it.
Yeah, when you're in danger or not. Yeah, dude, I just. That blows my mind.
Oh, it was crazy. And then, so it runs up that hill. And then the craziest thing, you're like, God damn it, that was the biggest animal I've ever seen. Why is there no sound? Why can the biggest animal in the entire, it's like an elephant running through the woods, but not making a sound.
Yeah, I mean.
I still don't understand how that works with elk and stuff. Like deer even they crash louder to me in certain ways.
I mean, I've definitely seen elk fucking crash through some shit.
Oh,
it's like, holy fuck, so it's like, they're not quiet. Deer are fucking silent. And many, I mean, until they start running off.
When they prance and jump up and down.
Elk have such a strange gait.
Yeah.
Like they do look like they float.
Yeah.
Like they have this trot to them that like just is a weird like levitation.
Do you think it's from having, and we started talking about this after this experience, do you think it's from having a smaller foot, like the surface mass of a long foot, like our foot stepping, it's covering so much ground like from front to back, whereas an elk is like almost like a beer can, it's like a straight cylindrical hoof. So they're able to just step straight down compared to us with a long foot that steps over multiple things.
Yeah, but
that aids to their.
And I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
but a moose has 4 fucking dinner plates as feet.
Feet, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that thing. It's like
bunch of pancakes.
I mean, yeah, just like I think they're just used to being out there and they know what they're. I think they truly know what it is that their feet are stepping on and where they're stepping and how they're like when it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge, they're getting out of Dodge.
They don't care. They'll make
And I'm sure there was a fair bit of noise that was happening. And
maybe you were
like,
it was noisy right then when it happened, but then once he ran up that hill and got into that tree line,
silence.
Just like it was 30 seconds ago. Just absolutely dead.
Except your fucking
that whistle. Except for the poop in my pants and my heart beating out of my chest.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
But that was turkey, dude. It was fun. Can't wait to do it next year.
That's so fucking fun. Well,
shall we?
I think we shall.
Should we give a final fuck you to Tobin for not being here?
I mean,
he did start this, so maybe we don't.
No. Fuck you for sure, for sure. We don't get to say it enough.
Yeah.
No, Tobin's taking care of some stuff at the casa, and hopefully things end up going that direction when he is looking for that new spot. So
a lot of new announcements to probably be bringing up in the future.
So anyway, enjoy, guys.